When my son was 3 years old, we were having lunch at the dinner table, and we were talking about the people he was named after, both of whom had passed away. He was full of questions. Where are they? When will they be back? And finally, he turned to me and said, "Wait, Mommy, do you mean we only get one turn on Earth?" Well, after letting that profound statement from my preschoolers soak in, I said, "Yes, honey, we do." And he said, "Well, I guess we'd better make it a good one." Yes, we get one turn on Earth, and we need to make the most of it. So far, you've made a significant investment towards having a successful career life. By the time you graduate from college, you've spent 17 years. That's like 3,000 days and 25,000 hours to get educated in your career. You've read probably 100 books, taken hundreds of tests, and learned from some of the best experts in your field. You recognize some of those people? All to reach this point, to earn your college degree and proudly hang this diploma on the wall and signify to you and others that you have mastered the knowledge and the skills that you need to embark on your career. And that's important because meaningful work is a key ingredient to a meaningful life. The problem, though, is we haven't invested nearly as much training and preparing for our personal lives. When we walk down the aisle, we don't have a degree in how to have a long, successful marriage. And when you leave the hospital with your newborn baby, they don't come with an instruction manual, and you haven't passed tests on how to be a great parent. We don't spend nearly as much time investing in our mental and our physical health. In fact, 25% of Americans say they don't exercise at all. And this lack of attention to our personal lives comes with costs. 1 in 2 marriages ends in divorce. Alzheimer's, heart problems, diabetes, obesity are all on the rise. And people are experiencing anxiety and depression at younger and younger ages. We need to be just as intentional in our personal lives as we are in our careers, because without it, we may have a less satisfying, less successful, and even a shorter turn on Earth. So when thinking about how to best invest in your personal life, probably one of the last places you think to look is the business world. But as a business professor, the science and the principles of business give us valuable lessons on how to create a satisfying and successful life. I'll share 3 with you. First, great companies begin with a vision. They have a clear picture of what they want to be, what they want to have accomplished 10, 20 years down the road. Take Southwest Airlines, for example. Their vision is to become the world's most loved, most flown, and most profitable airline. Vision is essential because imagining the future is the first step in creating it. Today, 45 years later, Southwest carries the most domestic passengers, has the best customer satisfaction rating, and they have a 40-plus year record of profitability, all indicating their success towards achieving their vision. So how can you apply this to your personal life? You need to begin with a clear picture of your desired future. Imagine you've come back to Furman for your 10-year reunion. What do you want your life to be like? What have you accomplished? Certainly in your career, but are you married? Do you have kids? What does your social and spiritual life look like? What about your physical and mental health? Are you active in your community? What qualities and characteristics do you want people to say about you? Envision it. Write it down. Because without knowing your desired destination, other people and circumstances can guide your path, and you can end up somewhere very different than you intended. If vision is where a company wants to end up 10 years down the road, strategy is their roadmap for how they're going to get there. Great companies realize their resources are limited. They can't and they shouldn't do everything. They have to make decisions and be very deliberate about what they will invest in and do and what they won't invest in and do. And when they've got competing priorities, they got to know which one's more important and which one's going to get more of their resources. Southwest had a simple strategy. If we get passengers where they want to go, when they want to get there, on time, at the lowest possible fare, okay, and they have fun doing it, passengers are going to want to fly our airline. They were the pioneer in low-cost air travel. A marketing executive went to the CEO and said, hey, we've got some data that suggests that our customers would be happy if we served a chicken Caesar salad on some of our longer flights. The CEO said, let me ask you one question. If we serve chicken salads, is that going to make us the low-fare airline in those markets? Because if not, we're not serving any doggone chicken salad. And they didn't. Even though it seemed like a good idea, it wasn't consistent with their low-cost strategy. Your resources are limited too. And just like Southwest, you can't and you shouldn't try to do everything. You're going to have to make some tough choices. And your decisions should be based on what your priorities are. You should think strategically and invest your resources, your time, your energy, your money, read books, listen to experts in those things that are going to help you achieve your desired future for your life. Take time as an example of one resource. All of us in this room have one thing in common. We get 168 hours a week. If you take out 40 hours for work and 8 hours for sleep, you have 72 hours of personal time. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to prioritize? Are you going to exercise, volunteer, go to church, spend time with your spouse, your friends, your extended family? Are you going to binge on Netflix and scroll through Facebook? We have the opportunity to invest in our priorities. No one starts off and says, one day I want to have a heart attack. No one says, I want my marriage to be one of those two marriages that ends in divorce. But unfortunately, some of us find ourselves there because we don't invest the most in the things that matter the most. Great companies not only know their vision and align their resources strategically, but they know their purpose. They know why they exist. Southwest Airlines says their purpose is to connect people to what's most important in their lives. And they say working there is not just a career, it's a cause. But notice what they don't say. They don't say our purpose is to make as much money as possible. 80% of millennials say that one of their life goals is to get rich. But the science is clear. Beyond having enough money to meet our basic needs, money does not buy happiness. Not in our jobs, not in our lives. But Southwest understands the science behind motivation and two things people do need to have a satisfying and successful life are cause and connection. So how do you apply this to your life? You need to know your purpose, your why. You need to surround yourselves with the people and find those activities that will give you the greatest sense of meaning. And the research tells us that people find the greatest sense of meaning when they put the focus outside of themselves, when they help, when they care for, and they serve others. Relationships are not only key to successful businesses, but they are key to a successful personal life. Harvard conducted a 75-year study on health and happiness, and they found that the number one factor is social connections. It's not how many relationships you have, it's the quality, the depth of the relationships, the connections you have with family members, friends, and neighbors that help us be physically healthier, help our brains stay sharper, and they help us live longer. You get one turn on earth. What are you going to do with it? No matter your age or stage of life, we tend to overinvest in our careers and underinvest in our personal lives. Meaningful work is important, but we need to bring balance by being at least equally invested in our personal lives. And it's not about equal time, but it is about having a clear vision of your desired future, being strategic and investing most in the things that matter most, finding meaning, and investing in relationships so that when you come back to Furman for your 10, 20, or 50-year reunion, you can say, wow, I've had one heck of a turn on earth. Thank you.